excitement's really starting to build from us about retirement. Sometimes they say that the journey is just as important as the destination, or just as fun as the destination. That's what we're starting to feel now, because we're in our kind of intense planning phase for retirement now. So at the heart of that is where we go with housing. So we are looking at downsizing, but rather than just deciding to stay in the UK here, downsize and move to a smaller property, we think what we're going to do at this point is to sell the house, invest the money from the sale of the house, and go off on travel for potentially a year. And then when we return back to the UK, then we'll look to rebuy into the housing market at that point. So that leads to the next question: where is travel? What does travel look like? So we definitely want to do some world travel. Asia's really interesting to us. So Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, Japan, China. We definitely want to do that part of the world. Some parts of South America. We'd like to do Australia. Done America a lot with family holidays, so that's not as important, but we would like to do the Caribbean as well. And we're really interested in the concept of slow travel. So if you've not come across slow travel, it's basically, rather than doing a week here and a week there, then we're looking to do probably over the 12 months, 12 destinations, a month in each. So it sounds expensive. However, the slow travel movement, there's a ton of information out there about how to make the best of that. And we've been doing quite a lot of research over the past few months into the best ways to do it and what your budget would look like for that year. We don't want to go along the extreme economy budgets where we are staying in low-end Airbnbs, that kind of thing. And actually, when you break down the numbers in a lot of detail, if you do your planning right, plan far enough in advance, make use of reward cards and hotel-linked credit cards, we are finding during planning that staying in hotel chains is actually cheaper than using B&Bs. And also much more convenient. So imagine you get off a plane in Kuala Lumpur and you head off to an Airbnb. Well, it's likely the host of the Airbnb is going to want to meet you there at a certain time. And with flights and airports and travel, that can be quite stressful in terms of arriving there at that time. Also, when you do get there, Airbnbs have lots of different rules which you need to follow. If you are tired after a long journey, sometimes the briefing from the host can be an hour. Now, the idea of not having that walk into a concierge desk 24 hours in a Hilton in Kuala Lumpur, giving your name, getting your room key and going straight to bed, that sounds much easier to me, to be honest. So we are preferring at the moment the idea of really maxing out and taking advantage of the various cards that are available. We were thinking of IHG, and if you're from the US, that is by far, I think, the best choice. However, if you are a UK resident, then some of the deals that you can get in the US via IHG are just not there, particularly in terms of the credit card and the startup points. So we're currently looking at Hilton as being the kind of go-to chain for us in terms of travel partners and rewards cards, loyalty cards, that kind of thing. So the kind of things you can expect is be able to book a standard room, arrive at reception. If you're a gold and platinum member, then even though you've not booked a breakfast, you will automatically get a breakfast. There's a good chance you will also be upgraded to a suite, which if you are staying in somewhere for a month is really important. And another real good factor is to be able to get club access. So to go to the club room where during the day you'll be able to get free drinks and free snacks throughout the day, as well as your breakfast there, really brings down the cost of food while you're traveling as well. So what does a budget look like? Now, we're not going for a low cost budget on this. We are looking at, a fairly, one of the higher end budgets that we've seen from other people who we've watched do this kind of slow travel. And that for us works out at about £4,000 per month. Now that's not just accommodation, that is your travel costs, and that some of that will be flights. We'll be hoping to take mostly business class flights. There'll be cruises, so slow cruises. So you can get really good deals for cruises that go one way. And these are repositioning cruises. So repositioning cruise is when a cruise line needs to move its fleet of ships from one part of the world to another. And it's usually a follow the sun model. So they tend to follow where winters and summers are and move their ships accordingly. If you can get yourself on one of them repositioning cruises, then you are talking 20% of the normal cost of a cruise. In fact, sometimes you can cruise, say, across the Atlantic considerably cheaper than it would be if you took a flight. Also, you're probably looking at about 13 days on board with board as well, in terms of getting fed and watered while you're doing it, which will again reduce the costs there. So getting really excited about this. We have set ourselves a budget of £4,000 a month, which leaves us a really good contingency in our actual pensions actually. So it's not that during that first year every time we're going to blow significantly more than we need. In fact, it will give us quite a bit of contingency. And we always want that contingency, because if we decide 3 months in, bad idea, we want to jump on a plane, come back to the UK, back into the housing market, and then call it as a bad idea. We don't think we will. We think we've got this planned out, and we're really looking forward to it. So where are we going to go? I think we would probably start by going to somewhere within reasonable kind of flight distance, so maybe Turkey, and then we would start for a month in Turkey, for example, and then start moving further eastward. I really want to do Japan. Japan is an absolute must, and I think 2 centres there, so possibly 2 months in Japan, in different parts of Japan. And then Malaysia looks incredible. Virtually everyone native speaks English. You struggle in Malaysia to find people in major cities who are not talking English. Philippines, very similar again. Beautiful places, really well developed, fantastic hotel chains. Really looking forward to doing that. And then, Thailand, possibly going down there, maybe from there to Australia. I haven't got the map fully worked out yet, but we kind of know where we want to start our journey. What we're also planning to do is start booking these things well in advance. If you, say for example, I booked a Hilton hotel in Kuala Lumpur in 12 months' time, with the kind of card and membership that I'll be acquiring with, getting the Hilton Honors card, the associated credit card that goes with it, which will give us, 80,000 points, which, is a fair chunk of free accommodation to start off with. Then once you get to that level, you will be expecting the hotels at fantastic rates. So where you may think in, say, the UK or the US, you might be paying £140 or $165 for a night in a Hilton hotel. Once you book in for 4 weeks, you also apply for a standard room, which gets upgraded to a suite. You get your free breakfast included because of your level of membership. You can often, in the likes of Kuala Lumpur, in a really good Hilton, be talking £40 to £50 or $60 per night, and that's for the two of us. So, at that point, then you're kind of thinking, very rough numbers, 1,200 quid for accommodation. You'll generally have a flight or a one-way cruise built in there as well, and that gives you plenty of scope, because you've got a lot of your meals paid for, breakfast, that kind of thing, plenty of scope for eating out, seeing all the local tourist attractions, going to shows, that kind of thing. So we know from looking at other people who do this that the £4,000 budget that we set is really generous, really, in terms of being able to go and do this for a year. And who knows, we've seen some people who've started out to do this for a year, 5 years down the line, they've not returned back to their home country and have just become kind of nomads, really. And you know, the beauty of if we do decide to sell the house and invest the money from the house before we go, it does give you a bit more freedom, doesn't it? Because otherwise, if you're back worried about what's going back on here in the UK, you know, midwinter, December, are the pipes going to burst? Is the place secure? I'm still paying council tax. There's still water rates on the property, you know, all these kind of things. If we do decide to go ahead, just sell the house, invest the money, and then when we're due to come back to the UK, have a look at the housing market back in the area, which we love, which is CH63 here on the Wirral. Come back here, find a much smaller house, which is what we're looking for anyway. We'd probably need to do some time in accommodation here in the UK, but you know, I can imagine we're going to build up some incredible hotel points and rewards by then, which will give us time to get back into the housing market. So yeah, really excited, both of us. What we're going to do is we're going to share as much as we can as our plans start forming, and even thinking about where we're going to start and what that looks like from a finance position for us.